Hello everyone, TAC1421 here with the very first episode of the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. I'm going to be bringing everyone a lot of these games, hopefully. I just started playing the online version of the Pokemon Trading Card Game. I've been playing for about 2 years or so offline and just regular old, the actual card game and, tournaments. And I've been going to my local league for about 2 years as well. So I have a pretty good knowledge and background on the, most recent sets from Black and White on, and so I've been playing since that set came out. So I am bringing everyone today a game of a pretty cool deck. As I just said, I don't have too many cards, so I kind of went out and I tried to make a deck that is fairly cheap, and I traded some of my more valuable cards for lesser valuable cards, like more of the lesser valuable cards, to make some kind of deck here. And right here we have a Weavile Exeggcute fossil deck, as I like to call it. And the very first turn right here was very, very rough for me. I see the Bouffalant. That could be a numerous amount of decks, because Bouffalant is very versatile in different kind of decks. You can be played in Verzian Genesect, you can be played in Weavile, even though it's not very common, and just any kind of like big basics deck or anything like that. Here I see the Tepig, so my guess is he's playing some kind of fire deck, basically, and not quite sure exactly what he's playing. You will see later in the game he's actually playing Charizard, so that's pretty cool. But at this very moment, don't know what he's playing. He could be really playing any kind of fire deck. I do, luckily from the colors for one, on my very first turn, get an N, and then I top deck a Juniper, so that's really cool. I do want to talk about this deck and how it synergizes and how it came about and why I made the deck and all this other fun stuff. But you can see here I do choose to get the Exeggcute. I run 4 Level Ball, 4 Great Ball, and 4 Ultra Ball. So the main purpose of the deck is to be streaming the Exeggcutes. You want to get the Exeggcutes in the discard pile as quickly as possible. You want to start setting up Weaviles as quickly as possible as well. And that Crushing Hammer right there definitely does not help. And he has a fully powered up Bouffalant, so he's going to be hitting for 60 damage on me. But you can see here, put the Dark Energy, I run 2 Muscle Bands, put the Muscle Band, and then just Juniper away the hand, get a fresh hand, and I get myself 2 eggs, 2 Exeggcutes into the discard pile, which is what you want to try to do as soon as possible. My Suicune's going to die, but that's okay. But how basically the deck works is with the Weavile's attack is for 1 Dark Energy and 1 colorless. The second attack is, I don't know the name of it, I forget, but we'll see in a second. It does 30 damage times the number of Pokemon you discard from your hand. So you can see how this works with Exeggute's propagation ability, where once per turn you can get an Exeggcute from the discard pile and put it into your hand. So essentially you have 4 Exeggcutes in the discard pile at once, and you just put them all into your hand, and then you attack for what should be 120. And why this deck didn't work so well early on, you can see it's Vilify is the name of Weavile's attack. And why this deck didn't work so well when it came out in Plasma Freeze, I tested it out a lot when it came out in Plasma Freeze, and there's nothing, you're doing the 120 damage, but then there was not really any way to kill the X's that had the 170 and 180, and there was no Muscle Band, and if you played other kind of decks that didn't have the X's, it might be kind of difficult. So it didn't work very well. But now we have Lopunny, which is and I'm not playing in this, I don't have it yet, but I'll have episodes out later in this series that will have Weavile, Exeggcute, and Lopunny. But I was trying out the fossils because I didn't have the Lopunny, but Lopunny works really well. What Lopunny does is a stage 1, so you have the basic in the stage 1, and its ability is you pick up that card from the field, including all cards attached to it. So essentially it's 2 Pokemon. And if you have Ditto, which I actually play Ditto too. So if you have Ditto, then it's 3. But really, if you have Lopunny in the basic, I think it's Bumberry, or I don't know what the hell what its name is. But you pick those 2 up, and then you're hitting for 60 more damage, and that's all you really need. That gives you your 180, and then you're hitting 1 EXs for the 180 damage with 6 Pokemon. And you can see here he attaches the Giant Cape, but the math still works out since I have my Muscle Band. So I don't really need to, I'm just, all I need to do is get the Exeggcutes out and go from there. And he has all the energy on the Charizard, which is really nice for me because I'm going to be getting rid of all of his energy, and we'll go from there. So how you want to kind of base this deck and how you want to attack is you want to only attack and use Pokemon necessary to knock him out. So say the opposing Pokemon has 100 damage, then you only need to use the 4 Exeggcutes. You want to save everything else in your hand. And you don't want to bench things that are unnecessary. So you can save them for later on when you want to get those knockouts. And the way the fossils work with this deck, it doesn't work as well as Lopunny, and you also want to play Jirachi, which I don't have yet. So what I need to get is I need to get Jirachis, and I need to get Lopunnies, and that whole chain. But for now, what I'm doing in this game is I was running the fossils. What the fossils abilities do is once per turn, you can, if the fossils are in the discard pile, you can put them back in your deck. And this works with Great Balls. I have 4 Great Balls, and you can get them with Level Balls and Ultra Balls. You can Ultra Ball the eggs away and get a fossil Pokemon and just go from there. So I'm doing the math here. You have to be careful about the math. You have to make sure not to discard too little or too much. So I'm trying to do the math in my head right here. You can see here 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, and then the Muscle Band will get me the knockout. So I only need to discard the 6. So I'm going to hang on to the other 2 in my hand. I'm going to hang on to the Sableye because I don't need to discard it, and you want to hang on to anything that's, if you get the knockout with 6 Pokemon, then might as well leave 2 in your hand in that situation. So I do knock out the Charizard. That gets rid of all of his energy, and I have it set up so I can kill the Kangaskhan or whatever he brings in next turn, and he actually ends up forfeiting, unfortunately. But I did have that game pretty much in the bag. I do want to mention my Pokemon Online username or whatever it's called is Ace8Suited, so that'll be in the descriptions as well as you can see it on the bottom of the screen there. If you want to add me, we can trade, we can play battles, and we just go from there. That'd be really awesome. So let me know if you add me and all that, and let me know who you are, and we'll just go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the very first episode. If you have any suggestions on what I should play or anything you want to recommend, and just let me know. And I'll see everyone next time. Peace.